Good morning, everyone. It's Shauna, the tax goddess. Sorry for being quiet for a little bit there. There was a lot going on in the background, but this one I just couldn't stay quiet on. Let's put it that way. I'm really nervous here with what's going on. Back in mid-March of 2021, there was a bill that was proposed and it passed the House, which makes me nervous. We were not sure it was going to pass the Senate, but it's still floating around. And that's the part that bothers me here. So what we're talking about today is the ProAct. Okay. Now, there's always pros and cons in any kind of a bill, but the one that really catches me is that if something like the ProAct were to pass, effectively that means that anyone that you as a business owner pay that does not have a legally formed entity, so an LLC, an Inc., a partnership, something like that. So a lot of people just pay people as gig workers. You know, it's just casual labor. It's 1099, just straight to an individual. If something like the ProAct passes, anyone that you pay that does not have an actual legal entity, an actual business, you will be forced by law to make that person a W-2 employee. Now, I want that to sink in a little bit here, okay? If you currently are a business owner and let's say you decide to hire only for a specific gig, you decide to hire a media person, right? They're going to create some YouTube videos for you. They are going to edit some images for you, something like that. And they do not have a business. It's just Bob Smith, the media guy, okay? If something like the ProAct passes, you will be required to make Bob Smith a W-2 employee of your company. Even if it's for 5 hours, right? You will be required to pay self-employment tax on them. You will be required potentially to add them to your benefits packages. In some states, Arizona, for example, is a right to work state. So at least you could hire them and fire them at the end of their job. How much HR paperwork is that? How much work is that for your team to bring somebody on board? It's ridiculous. I'm not even sure what else to say about it. It is flat out ridiculous. So the ProAct bill, it passed the House on March 9th of 2021. The Senate majority leader at the time, Chuck Schumer, said that he'd bring the legislation to the floor of the Senate. Now, that's been a while, okay? I haven't heard a whole lot about it since then, but it really, really, really makes me nervous because this is one of the things that, of course, Biden had proposed, and you guys know I don't talk politics, I talk tax, but one of the things that Biden had proposed, it obviously came into being. Now he's president, they're trying to pass bills, they're trying to get this stuff in here. This is where the taxation is going. So really the question is, what do I think you guys need to be doing? So one, share the tax love, okay? Make sure that you are talking to other business owners. If you have a Bob Smith on your team and they're a 1099, talk to them, to talk to their CPA, to their tax strategist about get an LLC, get an entity formed, okay? Be prepared, all right? Because this has now come up multiple times where people are saying, government, somebody out there is trying to pass a law basically saying that 1099s are no longer really going to be allowed. And my biggest issue with that is that it forces you as a business owner to change the way that you do business, right? You are now going to either bring somebody on as W-2 and you're going to be responsible for that extra 7.65% of taxes, okay? Or you're no longer going to work with the Bob Smith, the guy that just hung out his shingle. He's just trying to start a business, right? He's the ability to open a business without having a legal entity, in my mind, is one of the keys of innovation of our country, right? The ability for people to go open up a business and make money and see whether whatever their idea is going to work or not work is a key of innovation, right? If you force, effectively, a bill like this would force every brand new business owner to form an entity, which is costly, right? In some states, it's not that bad. In some states, it's $200 or $300. In other states, like California, if you have an entity, there's a minimum $800 per year tax, minimum, Okay, so there's some really nasty things that are kind of brewing. And I guess that's always true in the tax world. There's always some sort of gotcha somewhere in the tax world and somewhere in the tax code. But the ProAct was one of the first ones that I've seen in a really long time that can have significant impacts to you and how you do your business down the road. Because effectively, could you imagine, normally when you're going to give a 1099, you obtain a W-9 form. Well, could you imagine obtaining that W-9 form and they say, no, I have no entity. And now you have to make the choice whether you want to work with this person or not want to work with this person, and whether you're going to pay that extra 7.65%. There's some really, these are tough choices for us. So all I can say is that I really hope that the ProAct, from the standpoint of business owners, I really hope that the ProAct just kind of fades out and does not get passed. The most recent update that I have seen was some articles here, May 11th, talking about this is going to reshape the tech industry. This is going to reshape trucking. This is going to reshape, pick an industry. This is going to reshape industry completely. Now, at the moment, this article was written on May 11th. This pivotal piece of legislation is stuck in the Senate, and I'm glad that it is stuck in the Senate. But this is the way of the world, guys. So what I need you guys to be paying attention to and thinking about is, how can you be having chats with your 1099 people, the people that you're currently paying 1099. You should, at this point, all have W-9s before you ever pay anyone anything. Of course, go obtain the W-9 so you have that information. It might be worthwhile asking a secretary or someone on your team to go through your W-9s and find out who does and does not have entities. If that takes you 10 or 15 minutes to kind of flip through, maybe an hour, depending on how many of these that you have, reach out to those people and have them take a look at how the ProAct is going to impact their lives and your lives. It might be worthwhile a conversation now before you're scrambling at the end of the year and now having to prepare another 200 W-2s for all your 1099 people. So, my tax tip today is be prepared. The government is coming. I feel like all of a sudden, what's the guy with the lantern that rode to the British are coming? Anyway, my brain is dying, but I kind of feel like that. The politician answer to all of these tax rate increases that are coming down the line is we have to pay for COVID somehow. I'm not going to go off on a rant about that because, of course, there's a lot of government waste as well, in my opinion. That's my honest opinion. But I do think no matter what, it's going to come down to impacting business owners, small business owners, the brand new little guys who are trying to innovate and trying to create a business, all the way up to the really big guys. All right. This is a huge change for even some of the biggest companies in our country. So again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, sorry, I feel like I went a little tiny bit of a rant, but if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out to the team and I. You can always book an appointment at taxgoddess.com. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Thanks all. Bye.